everyone!
Hello, congratulations, you've made it. It is your Friday and we cannot wait to get you started off on your weekend. Ako po si Paolo del Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you can use right now.
Rise and shine, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo, TGIF. Let's make today unforgettable with good vibes, great company, and loads of inspiration.
Happy Friday! I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are always more fun with us. Join us in the next hour and a half for stories and conversations that matter. And today's Friday, of course, we have a jam-packed show. Guest on guest on guest.
My goodness.
Such an exciting lineup.
We're talking about on-the-job
boss.
training later on. A girl boss will be joining us. And what's exciting is they're both here live in the studio.
I know.
Yeah.
100%. And you know what? I'm just so excited because there's a lot to go through, a lot to work on. Of course, and I'm particularly excited about our interview later on with the girl boss, which is of course the only female CEO of an aviation airline here in the Philippines.
Yes.
So I cannot wait to have that discussion, and of course I cannot wait to ask for tickets at the end kasi alam ko we will fail.
Not us. We're not gonna ask.
We're
We
not-
already know
Anne is
who's
going
gonna
to
ask.
ask.
Anne will be asking.
And then, yung mangyayari, bibigyan lang siya ng banana chips sa huli. Hindi i-plane ticket. Oh.
If they'll even give her banana chips, she'll just tell Anne, oh yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, but our guest from OJT Connect, he actually got us pasalubong from the US. He
So
got
we
us
don't have to ask
chocolate.
anymore. Kasi meron
No,
na.
because I think Anne already asked beforehand. Before you
hindi
go on the show, dapat may pasalubong.
It's so funny because I honestly feel we're the show that asks the most but receives the least.
Absolutely.
It's so good. But I am so excited to have them all over and of course learn a lot from all of them.
Yes, but let's check out how traffic is today because it's Friday.
I know,
so
it's a
hope
Friday.
Not bad.
So let's take a look, guys. Let's check out the major roads in Metro Manila at this hour. Woo! Here is the situation along EDSA Quezon Avenue flyover. On the left side of your screens are vehicles going to Quiapo. You're going to be hitting on the brakes as we see moderate to heavy traffic already building up on that stretch. Now, on the right side are vehicles bound for Quezon Memorial Circle. Moderate traffic as well on that side of Quezon Avenue. Now, let us take a look at EDSA White Plains this time. On the left side is the southbound lane going to Shaw Boulevard. Already busy at this time. Moderate to heavy traffic already building up. And on the opposite side is the northbound lane headed to Cubao. No problem as of yet. The expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing today. Since it's a Friday, guys, vehicles with license plates ending in 9 and 0 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Now, what's the weather going to be like on this Friday? Paolo has today's forecast from Weather HQ. Take it away, Pao.
Thank you so much, Mo. Let's take a look at the local weather where there are 3 weather systems currently impacting the entire country. First off, there is the northeasterly wind flow, which is affecting the northern part of Luzon. Now, the second system that we have to watch out for is the ITCZ, or the Intertropical Convergence Zone. Now, this is impacting the southern part of Mindanao, as you can see here at the bottom of your screens. Now, the third system, which is affecting the entirety of the country, is the easterlies, right here smack dab in the middle, but it is impacting the entirety of the Philippines. Let's go on first to Luzon. Now, areas like Batanes and the Babuyan Islands will experience cloudy skies with a chance of isolated light rain showers. Now, this is all due to the northeasterly surface wind flow. Now, this wind system brings cooler temperatures and can cause light showers across the entirety of the region. Now, the weather system will also bring partly cloudy to cloudy skies with the occasional rain in other areas of Luzon. Now, this will include the Ilocos region, the Cordillera Administrative Region, and the Cagayan Valley. Now, rainfall will be light to moderate at times, particularly in the afternoon or in the evening. Now, we go down south to Mindanao, where the ITCZ, or the Intertropical Convergence Zone, will cause cloudy skies and scattered rain showers and thunderstorms all throughout the Davao region. Now, it will also include the Soc-Sargen, Surigao del Sur, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. Now, these conditions may lead to strong thunderstorms and heavy rainfall, which could cause localized flooding in vulnerable areas. Residents in these regions should be prepared for unstable weather and take the necessary precautions. Once again, all these areas affected by the ITCC. Now, for the rest of the country, you can expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies, and all that expected with a possibility with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and the evening. Now, this weather is a result of the easterlies, which bring warm and moist air that could spark localized rainfall and thunderstorms across the various regions. Now, let's take a look at the heat index forecast issued by Pag-asa. Now, at present, 9 regions in the country are experiencing dangerously high temperatures, placing them in what we call the danger zone. Now, this means that these areas are expected to face extreme heat levels that could pose health risks. Now, leading the list is Hinatuan in Surigao del Sur, with a forecasted heat index of 45 degrees Celsius, which is considered very hazardous. Tagupan City in Pangasinan is next with an expected heat index of 44 degrees Celsius. Now, other regions falling under the danger zone, each with a heat index of 42 degrees Celsius, include Puerto Princesa, Palawan, Coron, Palawan, San Jose, Occidental Mindoro, Virac, Catanduanes, Iloilo City, Dumangas in Iloilo, and Butuan City in Agusan del Norte. In addition, there are several locations where the heat is intense but classified under the extreme caution zone. Now, these areas are expected to experience a heat index of 41 degrees Celsius. Now, this will include Camilig in Tarlac, Sangli Point in Cavite, Cuyo, Palawan, Borongan in Eastern Samar, and Cotabato City. Furthermore, other regions are under extreme conditions with a slightly lower heat index of 4 degrees Celsius, but it is still considered significant and requires caution. Now, these areas include Science Garden in Quezon City, Tuguegarao City in Cagayan, Etiague in Isabela, Clark, Pampanga, Muñoz, Nueva Ecija, Subic Bay, Olongapo, Hacienda Luisita, Tarlac City, Tanawan, Batangas, Masbate City, Pili, Camarines Sur, La Carlota, Negros Occidental, Catbalogan, Western Samar, and Zamboanga City. Given these extreme heat conditions, it is crucial to take all the necessary precautions. Staying hydrated is essential, so ensure that you are drinking plenty of water all throughout the day. It's also important to avoid direct sunlight, especially during the peak hours, and to wear light and loose-fitting clothing that helps your body stay cool. Now, in these extreme weather conditions, personal safety should be your priority. Stay alert, take the appropriate measures to protect yourself, and stay safe in these challenging and dangerous temperatures. Take a look at the sea conditions. As you can see here, there are no gale warnings all throughout the country. So this means that fishermen and mariners can safely head out to sea without the risk of extreme weather conditions. However, it is essential to remain alert and keep an eye on weather updates or any emergency advisories that might be issued throughout the day. Conditions at sea in particular can change rapidly, so it's crucial to always prioritize safety and be ready to take precautions if needed. Well, that is it for Weather HQ at the moment. Back to you, girls.
Thank you, Pao. In local news, the Bureau of Immigration deports the viral Russian vlogger arrested by authorities for harassing security guards and a mall goer in BGC. Vitaly Zidorovetsky was deported as an undesirable alien for violating Philippine immigration laws, which ironically are part of his online content. The tourist was arrested earlier this week by Makati Police and CIDG through a BI mission or ABI mission order for disruptive behavior. The 2 security guards he harassed have also filed charges. Authorities remind online creators to make sure their content doesn't violate any law or other people's rights.
Kailangan po talaga pag pagbablog nila may limitasyon. Yung nakakasiran ng sa tao lalo na sa lugar. Lalo na yung lugar natin ay yan eh. Maraming tao diyan sa BGC.
The recent viral road rage incident in Antipolo has renewed the push for an anti-road rage bill to be passed. Representative Rida Robes first filed the anti-road rage bill in 2019, and she now plans to ask the president to make this a priority.
My office is now writing the office of the president. Nakasulat na kami the other day pa since nakita ko na talaga yung sa Antipolo, parang hindi na mapipigilan yung init ng ulo ng mga tao eh. So, So far naman, pagka naman sumulat kami kay Presidente, sinabi namin urgent, tinitingnan naman ito at inaaral din po ito ng Executive Secretary.
Prohibited acts under the bill include wild gesturing at other motorists, use of foul language, and any physical attack or use of force against other road users. Included penalties are at least 6 months of imprisonment and or a fine of at least 250,000 pesos for any violators.
Senate President Francis Escudero calls for calm over the no-show of some cabinet members in a Senate hearing Thursday. Escudero says a plan to subpoena or summon the cabinet officials must be studied carefully. He warns tensions might escalate between the Senate and the palace. Senator Amy Marcos said she is planning to file a subpoena to cabinet members who skipped the hearing on the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Under executive privilege, cabinet members can decline meetings if it covers matters like national security or private conversations with the president.
Yan ang simulain at bahagi ng tinatawag nating constitutional crisis na hindi ko papayagang mangyari o makadagdag pa sa kasalukuyang mga problemang kinakaharap ng ating bansa. Pero imbis na mag-abogado nga ako sa sarili ko, nirefer ko na sa mga ibang abogado pa para hindi masabing sarili kong opinion lamang ito.
Malacanang fires back at Senator Bato de la Rosa's comments over the no-show of several cabinet officials in a Senate hearing. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro reminded de la Rosa that he was absent during the first hearing. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin had defended the absence of the cabinet members in the committee hearing led by Senator Amy Marcos. He reiterated that they cannot be compelled to answer questions on matters covered by executive privilege.
Hindi po ba niya natatandaan na nagkaroon na ng first hearing? Siya po yata yung wala. That was an opportunity para sa kanya para magtanong. So wag niyo pong sisihin kung ngayon po ay hindi umaten ang mga cabinet officials natin sa pangalawang hearing po. 6 na oras po ang naging hearing nung una. Sana po dumating siya, nagpakita siya, para po nakapagtanong siya na maayos.
In world news, a major escalation in U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war as he announces new tariffs on practically all goods coming into America. Starting on April 9th, a group of about 60 or so countries will be charged a tariff at half the rate they charge the U.S. The U.S. will also impose a 25% tariff on all foreign-made automobiles. Trump says his moves aim to address what he calls horrendous imbalances that have impacted the country's industrial base.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day, waiting for a long time. April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. We're going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy. For decades, our country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike. I don't blame these other countries at all for this calamity. I blame former presidents and past leaders who weren't doing their job. They let it happen, and they let it happen to an extent that nobody can even believe.
Now, with that being said, the Philippines is not safe from U.S. President Trump's tariffs. The country now faces a tariff of 17%. But this is lower compared to other Asian countries. Vietnam has a 46% tariff, Indonesia with 32%, and Cambodia 49%. Trade Secretary Cristina Roque says the Philippines must strengthen its trade relations with the U.S., where 20% of the country's agricultural imports are sourced. The DTI clarifies Trump's reciprocal tariff has exemptions, like copper ore and integrated circuit. Roque says she plans to meet with her U.S. counterpart soon.
Over in sports, it's Creamline versus Petrogas in the PVL All-Filipino Conference. The Cool Smashers swept the Chocomucho Flying Titans in Game 3 of the semis Thursday. Bernadette Pont led the Cool Smashers with 14 points plus 16 receptions and 7 digs, including an ace. Creamline is seeking to win its 5th straight conference crown. As for Petrogas, the Angels dominated the Akari Chargers in their semis matchup to book a trip to the finals. Brooke Van Sickle led Petrogas with 15 points, and Game 1 of the finals is set on April 8th at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. Moving on to boxing, Filipino boxing legend Manny Pacquiao issues a powerful call to action before United Nations General Assembly. Pacquiao appeared virtually at the opening of the UN Games 2025, which is billed as a month-long celebration of sports, unity, and international friendship. In his speech, Pacquiao said if more people played sports, there would be fewer wars and less hate in the world.
Through sports, I found purpose, discipline, and a platform to serve my country and inspire others. Every time I step into the ring, I didn't just fight for a title. I fought for my people, and I witnessed how my fights brought the whole country together. And I encourage the United Nations to keep using sports as a tool for peace. Let's use it to build bridges, not walls. I am ready to join you in this mission.
Pinoy pride in the NBA as Houston Rockets star Jalen Green reps the country on Filipino Heritage Night with a special pair of sneakers. The Fil-Am NBA star wore the signature kicks of Korea-based Filipino player Kevin Kiambao during Houston's game against the Utah Jazz. Acclaimed Filipino toy designer Quix Maiquez lent his artistic touch to the basketball shoe of the former LaSalle King Archer. And it appears the shoes were Green's lucky charm as the Rockets beat the Utah Jazz to clinch a playoff spot in the West. Jalen top scored for Houston with 22 big points.
Now in entertainment, award-winning singer and stage actress Lea Salonga opens up about her transgender child, Nick. In the cover story of People magazine, Salonga said she proudly supports her 18-year-old child, Nick, who recently started taking testosterone after coming out as transmasculine at the age of 14. On Instagram, Lea wrote, "Thank you, People, for sharing our story." The latest issue of People magazine will hit newsstands in the U.S. today. Meanwhile, Lea also celebrated what could be considered a Filipino renaissance in the NYC theater scene. On Instagram, Lea gave a shout-out to actors Eva Noblezada, Nicole Scherzinger, Darren Criss, Kay Sebal, Tatiana Cordoba, and Claire Marie Hall, who are headlining 7 different Broadway productions along herself. She wrote, "I don't think this has ever happened, so pardon me for sharing how proud I am of this milestone."
Nintendo has unveiled the successor to its hit Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch 2. The Switch 2, aside from overall hardware upgrades, such as a bigger screen with higher resolution, will also have Joy-Cons with mouse controls and a native online chat function. The Switch 2 will launch on June 5 and will have a Japanese retail price of 69,980 yen for a multi-language console.
Toyota of Billionario T family is revving up the excitement on the racetrack. Mobility correspondent G. Baroga tells us what's in store for its new season in this report.
The heat can't slow down racers and race fans as Toyota Gazoo Racing Philippine Cup kicks off its 2025 season here at the Clark International Speedway. With new categories, the competition is all set to deliver on its promise of an even bigger and better 2025. Alongside its usual sprint and endurance races for novice, sporting, and super sporting classes, Toyota is rolling out new categories for the Toyota Gazoo Racing Philippine Cup. These fresh additions promise to turn up the heat and add even more excitement to the track.
For some of the changes that we made to this season of the TGR Philippine Cup include the addition of the Legacy class, and this brings back the owners of older Vios Cup cars in order to bring them back to the track and for them to re-experience what it's like to duke it out on the track. We also set GR Club race for our GR Club owners. Although we already have track days and time attacks for them, we also want them to experience what it's like to be on the track as well, racing against one another.
Among the legacy class participants is Senator Garcia, who dusted off his old videos during this long campaign break and got back on the track. Despite a short prep time, Ejercito ended up on the podium, and he's excited about the potential of the Philippine motorsports scene, especially with the rise of younger and more talented drivers.
We have a lot of good young drivers who are also excelling internationally. So this is one, motorsports is probably one area that we can explore. Kailangan na siguro ng support. Kasi hindi rin biro kasi medyo mahal din talaga ang ang especially tires, spare parts, gasoline, medyo mahal din. But I think there's a big potential for our young drivers. Maraming magagaling sa kanila. No? So talagang titong-tito na ang dating ko rito.
One of the young talents is Inigo Anton, who is back to defend not one, not two, but 3 championship titles. Overall champion, super sporting class champion, and a team championship for Avengers Racing. Despite a few bumps in the sprint races, Anton bounced back in the 90-minute endurance race, proving that in motorsports, teamwork is just as important as speed.
There's a lot of pressure that comes, with defending the title, but I know me and Team Avengers, we really have a strong pairing and we work very well. There's a lot of communication as well as drive and support through everyone. Through all the setbacks, no one gives up, no one falters. Everyone is there just to boost each other up.
But Toyota isn't just looking inward. Billionario heir Andy T hints at big plans to bring in other car brands to grow Philippine motorsports.
One of our objectives is to become a center hub for the motorsports within the Philippines. So as part of that objective, we welcome the opportunity to collaborate with other automobile companies, and Hashimoto-san specifically referred to Mazda, and we could look for others.
At TGL Philippines, we stay committed to our goal of growing an inclusive and exciting motorsports hub, where we can all come together and celebrate our love for cars and motorsports.
With 2 more legs coming up, fans can expect even bigger surprises, including Toyota's bold move to take the action off the track and onto the streets of Metro Manila. For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
Now, we've got more stories and conversations for you later on the show. We'll speak to one of the leading women in the country's aviation industry. Sunlight Air CEO Ryna B. Garcia will join us live after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're still watching. It's a beautiful day. Now, we've got a certified girl boss in the house. She's the leading woman behind a boutique airline that connects travelers to some of the country's sought-after destinations. Joining us live in the studio is Ryna B. Garcia, the CEO of Sunlight Air. Ryna, good morning. It's a beautiful day.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's an honor having you. We're so excited. Aviation is one of the toughest industry to crack, especially you as a woman. I can only imagine what challenges you went through. So let's talk about what inspired you first and foremost to start Sunlight Air.
Well, Sunlight Air in the beginning was mainly to cater to underserved destinations, which is why when we launched on December 25, 2020, our first destination was Coron. Mainly because back then we didn't have as much or as many flights as we do today. And so once we were able to do that, we slowly transitioned to serving popular island destinations as well.
So you mentioned December 2020 you launched this airline, and that was the time of the pandemic.
Yes.
Right? So what were the challenges that you and your team had to face, launching during that time where there was COVID? What were the challenges, and how did you navigate your way through all these challenges?
Well, I think the biggest would be, as we all know, we were experiencing different types of travel restrictions back then. We had ECQ, MECQ, GCQ, and all sorts, right? And so Sunlight Air had to keep pivoting as well. But one thing that we kept in mind was we had to be adaptive. And so that was when we launched a full travel experience. Back then we called it a travel bubble package.
Okay.
Wherein everybody could take off from a private hangar in Manila and land in Coron with the private lounge in Coron as well. That booking consists of the airline, the hotel, and so we're able to lessen the touch points as much as possible.
Okay.
What I love about that is that you just reignited the trauma of GCQ and MECQ as soon as you just said it. But what I really find interesting is that looking at your background, looking at the background of the company, is that you never really had airline experience prior to this. In fact, you worked for a legal tech firm in Australia, came back working in hospitality, and all of a sudden here you are working on an airline. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how that shift happened to you. And you use this lack of knowledge of the aviation industry as a strength in previous interviews. So how did that all come about when you started in this industry?
Well, what I'd like to highlight was that my experience in hospitality really helped me in terms of being a customer-centric airline. So that 2 to 3 year experience prepared me for this role today. But really, the airline industry came on my lap in a way, it was a need. There was a need for somebody to oversee everything from what the branding of the company would be, what the vision would be, operations, human resources, and whatnot. And it just so happened that the role was given, or the role was needed at that time, and so there was a need for somebody to step up.
What I like about it is that we always talk about how you are a 30-year-old CEO, but when you started, you were 24, 25? When it comes to this. And it's insane to me that at 24 and 25, I was fresh out of college. I don't know what I was doing at 24, 25.
Same. I don't know what we were doing. Definitely not planning a business.
Exactly. But then I also realized that you mentioned all of these touch points that you felt like that someone had to watch over all of it.
Yes.
I also think about all the permits required to run an aviation company. And how did you evolve from siguro becoming more of a micromanager to being able to be comfortable in delegating?
I feel that the more you know already about the industry, the more you're able to trust the leaders, the co-leaders that you work with. And I've always had a good team with me that were very experienced in the industry. It's just that today, because I trust the people I've been working with, there are some of us who've been with me from the very beginning. Some of them having worked with Sunlight Air almost nearly 6 years. So with that, I've slowly let go of the micro details of planning the business. Yes, very slowly. But instead today, I think I become more of the visionary. I allow my team to brainstorm together with me, of course, but I am able to set the directions of where the company should be in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
No, Ryna, I'm just so amazed by you. Just like what I said earlier, in such a male-dominated industry. And when you started, Paolo mentioned you were around 24. So how did you penetrate the industry as a woman who was so young? I feel like that's very unheard of. And what challenges did you have, and how did you address those challenges?
Well, first, thank you. Second, well, this isn't really a challenge as a woman, right? Whether you're a man or a woman at that age, it's just difficult to start or even as Paolo was saying, with the permits and all,
Yeah.
that's all difficult. But
I really feel that it's not just the getting started, it's knowing where to start
Yes.
as well that made it very difficult at the beginning.
yes, but how we started was we really thought with the team what pain points the industry was still dealing with.
Yeah.
And that is why from the very beginning, despite serving underserved destinations, we really focused on offering a boutique airline service and customer experience, because we think from our personal travel experiences as well, that's the one thing that the Philippines is still missing.
Yeah, you know, I love that. You've mentioned experience over and over again and how important that is when people book with Sunlight and when people fly it. Just how much of the love and care for this particular service comes with the love and care for the experience of the customers that you have.
Yeah. Well, because like I said earlier, my hospitality experience really plays a big role into what Sunlight Air is today. So from the very beginning, as a boutique airline, we focus on experience, are very customer-centric. We empathize with the travel experiences in every customer touch point that our passengers go through.
You know, Anne, I was looking through her IG, her social media, because you know we stalk you.
Not us. I think it's just Paolo.
No, that's why we do research. But Anne, because what I love about her is the fact that there's a bit of work-life balance that I hate that term. I hate that term, but she has it.
But yeah. I mean, women are known to be multitaskers, right?
Yes.
And I am sure that you being a young CEO and balancing that with your personal life as well, how do you manage that term that we hate, work-life balance? What are maybe like your tips, your tricks, your strategies? Yeah, and what are the hobbies that you do just to relax and unwind and everything?
I mean, just as how I've slowly evolved from a micromanager to a collaborative and a visionary leader today, I've also slowly learned in the process to live a more balanced lifestyle.
Okay.
Of course, in the beginning, when Sunlight Air had its many growing pains, I thought that working was the way to go. But then I realized that doing that is not sustainable, and I'm actually not doing any good for the team or for the business.
Okay.
It leads to, this is a common word that you guys might hate also, but it leads to burnout. Whether we admit it or not. And at the end of the day, it's really not sustainable for the team. As much as possible, I'd like to be present for the team long term. And so yes, I try to live a very balanced lifestyle. Some of the things that I enjoy doing are like diving on weekends, or really just doing nothing.
That's so good.
Oh, that's the best thing.
That's the best. That's normally what we do on the weekend. We're on do not disturb mode.
Yes, stay at home, watch movies.
I love that, because I love the term that you mentioned, burnout. Funnily enough, we don't hate it.
Oh, thank God.
We live it. We live it from time to time.
And we're trying to get that work-life balance. But, speaking of work-life balance, you're also such a fashionista. You're a fashion icon. When we stalked your IG, like Paolo said...
I thought you don't.
I didn't stalk. I took a peek. So, the unstalking. I saw all the amazing outfits you're wearing, and I think that also helped, Sunlight Air. I've ridden Sunlight Air, guys, and I'm obsessed, and especially at your uniforms. So I think, having a woman CEO really helped that, and especially you as a fashionista. You also own your own fashion brand.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I launched Fil-Am last December, but that was out of my passion, because I personally love suits. I wear it a lot for work, and I just want to share that empowerment with suits with more women.
Okay.
No, and I love what you're wearing, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's so interesting that you were talking about the fashion a while ago.
Look at the LED screen. Look how adorable. When I think of Sunlight Air, I think of their uniform. It's just your quintessential Filipino
Could we get
woman
Mo
or man.
a bit of their uniforms?
too.
Just
I
because
will wear
I
it
think
here.
Mo would love it. But
I love them.
what I love about it is that you turn your passion to a business. You've turned a necessity, a need that you felt in the industry into a business, and I can only imagine your impact to other women. I mean, a lot of people like, how could you do it at such a young age, and how could you shift into the industry you had no idea about? When you talk to women who look to you for inspiration, what do you normally say?
I mean, there's always that hesitation as a woman, just because of the standards that are set out for us, or the limits, or the invisible limits that people or society give women. But I always just say that when you're passionate about something, or when there's a business that you want to start, just start somewhere.
Right.
Whether that's learning it from ground up, that's fine. You want to start it right away and make mistakes, that's okay too. Because eventually you'll get there. You learn the ropes. Things will fall into place perfectly.
Like what Monique mentioned, you are a female leader in a male-dominated industry. In your opinion, what do you think the aviation industry, what are the steps that the aviation industry can take, or any industry for that matter, to encourage women to pursue leadership roles?
I think for male-dominated industries in general, not so much just for the aviation industry, it would just be to remove the traditional limits that are set out on roles. So there are certain roles that are traditionally male-dominated. At Sunlight Air, we remove all that. So we can have female pilots, female mechanics. I was telling the team earlier that while I was checking our current manpower roster, we actually have 38% women already amongst the team. So I think it would be that. There's no necessary program or activity that you need to do, but to just keep all roles equal, fair, open, and remove the traditional beliefs of for certain roles it has to be a certain gender.
Now, looking ahead, what are your aspirations for Sunlight Air moving forward, and what can we expect?
Well, for Sunlight Air, I envision it to be adaptive still, innovative, whether that be digitally or in terms of service. We also envision Sunlight Air to become a top regional airline in the Philippines, helping the tourism industry connect international and domestic travelers to more islands in the Philippines.
I'm so excited for all of that, and we're so excited to fly Sunlight Air next time.
Yes, and guys, not only are their outfits cute, let me just mention their banana chips are amazing. They're in-flight snacks. So if you haven't flown Sunlight Air, I encourage you to fly Sunlight Air. Ryna, thank you for being such an inspiration and for being here. I'm such a fan.
Thank you so much, Monique. Thank you, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ryna B. Garcia, the CEO of Sunlight Air.
Now, a Fil-Am visionary tech founder was recently named one of the 2025 Leaders of Influence in Technology by the San Diego Business Journal. We will speak with him after the break about his startup, OJT Connect. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. An online platform aims to give you your best match yet in your career. OJT Connect bridges students and career shifters to meaningful opportunities worldwide. Joining us in the studio this morning to tell us more, OJT Connect founder Romel Romero. It's a beautiful day, Romel. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Morning. Romel literally flew here from San Diego just to be on our show.
Still jet lagged.
We are a
actually.
destination.
We are a destination, yes.
But it's good to have you back. I know we had a sit down last year, but this time, it's a lighter setting, no more suits. First of all, congratulations on the recognition and congratulations to OJT Connect. I know you celebrated your first anniversary last March.
Yes.
Let's talk about OJT Connect. Can you tell us what is this all about? What is this platform all about? What does it do and how does it help Filipino students and employers as well?
It all started from recognizing our culture. And ever since I was a child, we always had this, this idea of sacrifice, and OFW, and it kind of led on to personal experiences. When I traveled to where I spoke at PUP Onisan, which is a provincial college out in Quezon. And that's when I started realizing there is this big issue of job mismatch. And I started digging a little more, and I started realizing that opportunity isn't available everywhere. And it led to an article I read, and it was titled, "Talent is everywhere, but opportunity isn't. And the world is missing out on it. Opportunity is only given to the privileged. And that privilege is very small, the percentage. Who knows what's like around the world in terms of talent.
Right.
Unless we don't provide the opportunity. We'll never know.
Yeah, what I love about that statement is the fact that I know you understand being an OFW, understanding the Filipino workforce, that there is a sort of hidden talent within the Filipino workforce. Sure, the entire world knows about our hospitality, our friendliness. There are those stereotypes which I believe are completely validated when it comes to Filipino workers, that we have a certain level of care that others might not have. But then it feels like you understand it goes beyond just those typical stereotypes.
Oh yeah, definitely. What's a good prime example? Nurses.
Yeah.
That was recognized how many years ago? But why was that the last, I guess I wouldn't say credible, but relevant certain position that the Philippines could contribute in terms of the workforce for the world? You can't go to any hospital in California and not see a Filipino nurse.
Of course, yeah.
And imagine, the scalability in terms of a future for that individual, But I believe there's more to us. Of course, the world sees the Philippines at the moment, and there's nothing wrong with these industries, call centers, BPO. But then how would we kind of pivot that to something a little bit more great?
Right.
Something that could provide a better future in terms of, not really value in terms of wealth or anything like that, just for kind of your personal goals. And because why do we go to school?
Right, to get a better future and better opportunities.
We have a dream.
Yes.
But then if you have setbacks because there's no opportunity, how could we fulfill that dream?
And I love the word opportunity, and you've used that multiple times. So for those who are watching us right now and want to leap on that opportunity, how does OJT Connect work?
It's extremely simple. And I believe in building simple technology these days to fix real problems. It's a basic web platform.
Okay.
And it works like any job website. Any applicant, alumni, student could just create an account and apply for positions that are available. And everything is done remotely. And that's the beauty about technology. Everything could be done remotely. And our main goal isn't, it is to unravel the hidden talent.
Right.
But it's also to, build the resume of someone, having the credible work experience, or the relevant work experience, and especially with a company abroad, just imagine the steps you could get after that.
And not only is your website simple, but it's also free.
Yeah, free 99. Because and that's how we work. I get asked this all the time. I'm a tech guy. We don't run the same traditional business as everyone else. We focus on the problem, we focus on the growth, and we'll figure out to monetize later on. But if it's our usual passion is fixing the problem. and not scaling in terms of profit, but scaling in terms of growth and usage and addressing that problem.
You know, Romel, you mentioned
Yeah.
job mismatch a while ago, and I think that is a problem here in the Philippines, that skills mismatch in on-the-job training placements and internships. And I may be wrong, but some of the schools don't really monitor where their students will be having their internships, right? As long as you complete the number of hours that's required by the curriculum, then you're all set to graduate, right? So this is where OJT Connect comes in. This is where you guys help. Can you tell us about, you know, the process of how you match the skills of these students that you help with the companies that you're partnering with?
Well, you know, I would say it's kind of common sense, right? If a company's putting on a position that's could be done remotely, whether it could be accounting, HR, those are the kind of companies we want to approve to be on the platform. Obviously, we can't do anything in healthcare. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But anything that could be done remotely, and it's possibly you're able to do it remotely, you guys could definitely sign up for the platform. That's just how it works. You know? That's the beauty about the internet. You could create this invisible bridge. You know, and you could get things done.
Right.
You know, I just want to emphasize just how much of a problem this is. So what we're trying to address really here is underemployment. Let's be completely fair. In the Philippines, at least 13.3% in January of 2024, 12.3% in 2023, and 14.2% in 2022. So it obviously is there when it comes to underemployment. My question here is really, when you look at the start of all of this, I want to know personally, just what got you started? Like, is there a moment in particular when you thought that this wasn't right? Because it takes a moment for you to realize, I want to address this problem, and I just want to figure out what that moment was for you.
You know, it just comes like an impact in terms of my experiences.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't until I started visiting the provincial colleges, and it started to kind of unveil itself.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, my parents' driver, he worked so hard to get his degree, but his best opportunity was in terms of, you know, sustaining, to have a financial stable life, was to be a driver. And when I drive around and I see like all these banners, I'm like, oh, we're so proud that this person summa cum laude, right? There's so much like I guess, you know, support and celebration that their daughter, son, or whoever made it this far. But then, okay, what's the end game after that? You know, the hard work. Where do they go? The hard work is there.
The talent.
The talent is there. And you go back to the States, and it's the same thing. You know, I've bumped into numerous individuals who had a degree in the Philippines, but they're doing a job that didn't pertain to their degree. And when I bring this idea up to them, they go, you know, I wish I had this when I was younger. And it's been in our culture for years. You know, I come from the Navy family. And everywhere I lived there's Filipinos. I touched the mic. Everywhere I've lived, there were Filipinos around me. And that's it built from that experiences being around a lot of Filipinos. But it wasn't until I started visiting the Philippines where it was more visible.
Hey, first of all, don't worry about touching the mic. But then, just looking at, I love that story of yours. Just going around talking to all these Filipinos, understanding it's a problem internationally, not just from Philippine setting. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of success stories. You have a lot of stories wherein you connected people and helped them grow. But is there any story in mind in particular that makes you feel like, yeah, this is the reason why I'm doing this? Is there something that really touched your heart or in your mind that really really makes you feel that, hey, this is doing some good?
It was my proof of concept. So I grew a partnership with PUPO Nissan, and you know, they asked me, hey, do you mind taking in some of our OJTs? I go, sure. I don't know what OJT is. Like, what is that?
It's a very Filipino term, isn't it?
I didn't know what an OJT was too. Because we call it internships back home.
Well, we call it internships here too. It's just that OJT is a very Filipino term.
I had no idea what it was. I'm like, what is it? Oh, it's internships. Okay, great. But then, you know, that was kind of the time where I had that impact of, okay, well, there is a problem. So when I brought in about 10 OJTs from PUPO Nissan, but I didn't want them to do meaningless work for me. I said, you know, how about we do this, guys? you guys break up into teams and you guys pitch me 3 ideas and let's create a startup.
Oh, wow.
And I'll have my team in the US support you guys. And I want these startup ideas to kind of be impactful to your surrounding areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one that won, that was about a ride-sharing platform because it's difficult to rent a van to go to like Lucena. Right?
Yeah.
So they're like, why don't we create a ride-sharing platform? Like, that's a great idea. It's going to save people on cost. And then but the whole idea wasn't for them to scale as a startup. The whole idea was giving the realistic world of how startups work.
Yeah.
How chaotic they are. It's
Right.
not perfect.
Yeah.
But the main goal was for them to work for me, get that experience, and have a published platform under their belt. So 8 out of the 10 got jobs in their respective fields. And I go, whoa, we got something here.
Yeah.
And it kind of relates to who I am in terms of business. I believe in selflessness, and I think that's extremely important when you run a business. And that kind of led me to what I'm doing today.
Romel, just in case we have viewers who are just about to apply for a job, apply for internship, we want to know, what are your tips in creating a really good and effective resume?
I was going to say, they have to be in school right now, though.
I started noticing a lot, especially having this platform. And the main tip is, how are you different from everybody else?
Yeah.
And I've noticed a lot of the users are voluntarily going on OJT Connect just to get the experience. They're not necessarily going through the OJT deployment. A lot of them are just voluntarily taking the initiative to get the experience. And by doing multiple internships, it's going to make you different. You're going to stand out as everybody else, and because it's going to show that, hey, this person's taking an initiative. I want that person to work for me.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
I gotta agree with that. I mean, like when I was in college, I took 4 or 5 internships, and only 2 of them were required.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, like it really does make a big difference, just doing all of that. I mean, like, but when you look at the way that you host your platform, what I'm curious with it also is, we're talking a lot about the applicants, but then the companies that look for these OJTs, these interns, normally, how do you go through them? How do you vet them? And of course, how do you make sure that it is a worthwhile experience for all of these?
That's actually a good question. That's a good one. And we don't focus on large-scale companies. I know that's what the world sees, right? It looks great on paper. But if we bring on large-scale companies, that talent isn't going to be shown because we're going to get meaningless work, right?
Yeah.
But if we focus on small to mid-sized companies, because if those companies, they'll be given a lot more responsibility and a lot more training. The idea isn't large numbers with OJT Connect. It's about getting the best the Philippines could offer, and we don't make it easy. There's different things and there's different avenues within a platform that lets us know as the owners of the platform that, okay, this individual is a go-getter. And it starts off with the profile. If you don't complete your profile from beginning to end, it kind of shows your characteristics. So those individuals who complete their profile from beginning all the way to the end, we actually put them on a carousel on the business dashboard, so they could see, oh, well, this person has a full profile, right? So it just, those are the ones we kind of want to highlight, because it just, to us, I want to show the best of the best because I'm Filipino. We don't want no skates, right? So we want the go-getters.
That Filipino pride, and what you're doing, Romel, is amazing. And I'm so glad that something like this is coming out and about. And I'm glad that you finally got recognized. You were named 2025 Leader of Influence in Technology by the San Diego Business Journal for the 2nd time. Not only first time, 2nd time. So congrats. How was it winning that award? Let's talk more personal now.
I don't know who's nominating me. He's
like, I don't know what's happening. I
Thank
just woke up and got that award. Let's look for Romel there. Where are you there, Romel? That is hilarious.
It's like a game, find Romel.
Well, Anne knows me. If you guys did your research, I'm extremely organic,
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I am humbled to be a part of especially these individuals. Oh my God, look, you got like AI guys, you got guys in the defense, defense tech.
Wait, let me point him out.
And then you got this guy. There he is. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm the most proud of in here? Yeah. Is that I'm the only Filipino.
Yeah,
Oh, no
actually.
way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I just want to remind people that we did not get this from their own site. We got it from his Facebook page. Can we go up there? We go up there right over so we can see the source. Ang it says it's from his Facebook page. There it is.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
It's so good. But Romel, I'm just so happy that you're doing this. I'm so happy that you're trying to address this problem. For those who want to go and get on the platform, how do they do so? And of course, another thing I wanted to ask, but I completely forgot, is the age limit to start and to end. I mean, like, is there, in your opinion, the proper age, quote unquote, for it?
It's college graduates to those, college graduates and on.
All right.
You know, we can't do anything with high schoolers or anything. It just doesn't make any sense. But college and on. Yeah.
And how do people get on the platform?
Oh, just OJTConnect.com. It's as simple as any job
Simple as
website.
that.
Simplicity.
Thank you so much for your time, Romel. Now you can get some sleep after this.
Yeah.
Get some rest.
Or don't,
Thank you.
because it's the morning. Just stay up because he's still jet lagged. It's afternoon in San Diego right now, so hopefully.
We really appreciate you coming on the show today. Thank you so much. Romel Romero, ladies and gentlemen, the founder of OJT Connect.
Thanks.
All right, so after the break, eating ice cream is one of the many ways we cool down, especially now that it is officially summer or tag-init dito sa Pilipinas. Later on, Weather HQ will put the spotlight on a quirky offering from Occidental Mindoro State College. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever tried onion ice cream? Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching This Beautiful Day. This is the Weather HQ segment. Now, onions have long been an essential ingredient in Filipino cuisine, enriching dishes with their unique flavor and valuable nutrients. Now, to support farmers during drops in onion prices, Occidental Mindoro State College has discovered a way to turn these bulb-shaped vegetables into refreshing summer treats. Now, to explore the inspiration behind this innovative food creation, the research process, and its impact on the local onion industry, we're joined today via Zoom by Mr. Arvin Jonathan Flores, Technology Transfer Officer and Food Processing Center in charge at Occidental Mindoro State College. Magandang umaga, Mr. Flores. Thank you so much for joining us here on It's a Beautiful Day.
Hello po, good morning po sa lahat and good morning po sa lahat ng studio and thank you so much for having me here today.
No worries.
Via Zoom.
Via Zoom, hopefully next time in studio, no? Kasi gusto ko i-sample talaga yung onion ice cream, eh. But
Yes,
let's
sir.
start off first with how it all began because to be quite honest, when people think of onions, they never think about putting it in ice cream. So, ano yung inspirasyon po ninyo and why did you decide that, okay, this is going to be a good idea?
Okay, sir, personally, first of all, Occidental Mindoro is an agricultural province wherein the people are relying on farming activities for them to have budgets or for them to be able to have what they have on their tables. And isa sa mga problema po that the farmers are facing is that when the price of the onion drops, wala po silang option kundi sometimes nakakalungkot. Nasisira po yung kanilang yung kanilang mga produce. So what we did is that for us to be able to help our farmers is that we really dive into research for us to be able to create something that is very unusual. Who would have thought that we could be able we can be able to create ice cream made up of onion na talaga naman originally or sa culinary, ginagamit talaga siya sa pagluluto when we are sautéing or when we are doing different dishes. So, ginagamit siyang pang-ulam. Pero with the help of research activities that we were conducting sa laboratory here in the Occidental Mindoro State College, we have been able to at least showcase what is very unusual na kung saan nakagawa po tayo ng ice cream.
I would just want to talk about yung problema ng low prices for onions, especially sa farm gate price. Because if I'm not mistaken, sa 2022, you can correct my numbers if I'm wrong, from 42 pesos, naging 12 to 15 pesos per kilogram. Tapos nung pumasok pa yung mga imports, naging 8 pesos. So let's take a look at muna at yung impact on the local farmers because we're all familiar with different onion-based products. I mentioned mo nga that there are other products apart from ice cream. But then how does this actually help yung mga local farmers? Because as we mentioned, there are some onions that do go bad or natapon na lang and maybe the prices are just not worth it anymore to plant at certain points. How does this help yung local farmers sa area po ninyo?
It was an eye-opener to everyone to come up with something that is very, different sa which kung ano yung available sa market. With that, in 2022, tama po yung data na bumaba po talaga yung presyo. So hanggang sa nag-drop pa nga po ng 5 pesos. And one thing that we think is that papaano namin matutulungan or papaano matutulungan ng paaralan ang mga farmers natin kung patuloy na bababa yung presyo ng mga produce nila sa kanilang mga bukirin. So, with that scenario, so we've come up yun nga sa paggagawa ng research na kung saan we have been dahil mayroong mga resources ko para sobra-sobra and wala silang idea kung what's next after nung harvest and walang buyers dahil sobrang baba ng sobrang baba ng presyo. So with the research activities that we have been doing, so yun nga po, nagkaroon po sila ng option. Kumbaga, they will not just rely na lang o kung hindi na lang sila magre-rely sa pagtatanim ng onion, but we have this option na pwede rin palang kumita when we process onions.
Let's talk about yung research process ninyo. And first of all, whose crazy idea it was to actually create ice cream na onion-based, diba? Because I cannot put two and two together. Una-una yung candid review mo kung anong lasa ng onion ice cream. And then of course, about the research process, yung marketing niya, and of course, yung reaction niya from the public.
So we've conducted a benchmarking activity po kung feasible or possible ba pwedeng gawing sweet treat ang onion. But through the help of research, we have been able to unleash the potential of onion in making it as a main ingredient in making sweets or sweet treats, specifically ice cream. So during the heating process, nagkakaroon ng conversion na yung pungency is nai-eliminate po. The pungency in onion is being eliminated due to the heating process, and as well as nagko-convert po into sweet. Nagkakaroon siya ng sweet taste or nako-convert sa matamis yung pungency. So yung mga compounds that are available doon sa onion is being eliminated, and it's being what they call this converted into sweet taste. So yun po, talaga namang nakakatuwa at nung una, medyo hesitant yung mga consumers, ano ba talaga yung lasa ng onion ice cream? Kasi nga, it's very, very, it's a crazy idea. Na talagang, sino gagamit ng ng sibuyas para sa paggagawa ng sweet treats. So, we've conducted sensory evaluation, we've standardized the formulation of the ice cream, and yun nga, consumer acceptability testing. Nung una, medyo hesitant yung iba na tumikim, but then later on, when they have actually tried the ice cream, they have been able to realize that, it's possible pala that we can use onion in making dessert.
From a business point of view, is it profitable already? And of course, can you tell us a bit more about yung cost and all of the business-related aspects when it comes to yung onion production in terms of ice cream natin?
Yes, sir. So currently, we have been working with the different partners here in Occidental Mindoro, specifically in the Autumn Hub of the DTI in San Jose, here in San Jose, as well as when it comes to the promotion of the product, the LGU San Jose as well as the Tourism San Jose is helping us to at least to at least capture the larger market. So as of the moment, we are currently producing the onion ice cream here at the Occidental Mindoro State College of Agriculture Food Processing Center, and we have walk-in clients po na pumupunta sa amin. After they knew about the news last week. So talaga naman po dagsa yung pumupunta sa amin sa processing center. And another thing is that for us to protect the technology that we have, so we have applied for a patent application sa Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, sa IPOPIL po, so that yun nga po, para maprotektahan po yung technology natin. And we are hoping that hindi lang po sa Occidental Mindoro yung makater natin doon sa product natin, but as well as sa buong Pilipinas, specifically sa NCR po. Ayan, makarating po sana yung ice cream dyan sa NCR.
Sana po, kasi I want to try it, to be honest. But, you know, just looking at all of this, na-distract ako kasi kanina when we were looking at the products, may onion pandesal, may mga iba't ibang produkto doon. When you look at all of these innovations that you are doing, gaano ka-importante yung creativity ninyo? And of course, yung pagka-crazy ninyo to be able to turn all of these ingredients that siguro we don't necessarily equate to other certain food products into something new?
Aware naman po tayo siguro doon sa when life give you tangerines, pero para sa akin is when life give you onions. Okay?
Oh, tangerines pwede na rin. Oo.
Yeah, you should really find a way to make the best of out of difficult and unexpected situations, even if they seem unpleasant. Kumbaga, you should really look on to the possibilities that you can be able to create something out of the readily available resources, specifically yung makakatulong po talaga sa marginalized sectors, specifically sa mga farmers po, when the time na mawawalan sila ng pag-asa, at least they could have an option na hindi lang farming solely yung pwede nilang maging activity, but as well as they can also try making different products made of what they have in their farms. So yun po, that's why creativity helps a lot, reading literatures helps a lot, and as well as kailangan nating maramdaman yung mga nasa paligid natin, specifically the farmers. The farmers who feeds the world. Without the farmers, we don't have rice.
Yes.
We don't have something on our table. So we salute all the farmers that all of their hard works should really be paid off, and it should be rewarded by doing different things. That is very unusual.
Sobrang unusual, Arvin. And for those wondering, how can people avail of this product? How can people go and check this out? And of course, papromote naman kung saan nga ba mabibili to.
Ayan po. So, if you wish to taste the onion ice cream of the Occidental Mindoro State College, you can visit our center at the OMSC Murta campus. Mag-drop by lang po kayo, along the highway lang po yung campus natin. And you can also connect with the tourism office of the San Jose, Occidental Mindoro, as well as sa office po ng President, sa President's Office ng Occidental Mindoro State College. So yan po, you are all welcome to experience the unusual taste of, and as well as refreshing taste of onion ice cream here in our province. Yan po.
When life gives you sibuyas, make ice cream. Thank you so much, Arvin. We really appreciate you. Good luck with the project moving forward. At sana naman makarating nga sa NCR because I am so curious to try out yung onion ice cream ninyo. Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much po.
All right, so that was Arvin coming with a lot of onion ice cream stories that we wish that we have had here in the studio, but maybe some other time. But for the moment, that is it for Weather HQ. Back to you, girls.
Thank you, Pao. Now let's find out if today life will give us onions or lemons or good fortune. Let's find out from our resident energizer and feng shui master, Hans Kua, in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans.
It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope for the day, April 4. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, magandang panahon ito upang mag-apply para sa promotion. Green at 8. Keoks naman tayo, mag-pitch sa iyong ideas kay boss. Ma-appreciate nila ang iyong effort. Yellow at 5. Kay Tiger naman tayo, be professional all the time. Ang iyong reputasyon, ang puhunan mo. Pink at 9. Rabbit naman, pag may nararamdamang di maganda, magpunta agad kay Doc. White at 1. Kay Dragon naman tayo mag-invest sa self-improvement tulad ng seminars or trainings. Orange at 7. Kay Snake naman tayo ang maging faithful kay partner. Aqua at 1. Ito naman! Kay of the Horsey, maglaan ng pera para sa dreams. Kahit malit lang yan. Page at 2. Ship naman tayo, wag balewaliin ang papahinga. Ito ang susi sa productive day mo. Gray at 6. Monkey naman tayo, focus on self-love. Mas makakatulong ka kung puno ka ng positive vibes. Smile! Brown at 5. Kay Rooster naman tayo, mag-focus sa pag-iwas sa utang. Unahin ang mga bayarin. Gold at 8. Kay Dog naman tayo, ang simpleng pamumuhay ay magbibigay sa iyo ng mas malaking savings. Pink at 3. Kay Pig naman tayo, maghanap ng side hustle na naaayon sa iyong passion. Blue at 9. Ako po, si Master Hans Kua. Paalala lang ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan ang horoscope of the day dito lang po sa It's a Beautiful Day! Happy weekend!
Thank you so much, Master Hans Kua. Now, in today's Love Hacks, we are helping the guys decode one of modern dating's most intriguing personalities, the strong, independent woman. Coach V is here for more. Take it away, Coach V.
Love hacks, we got you. No need to be sad. Love hacks, we got you.
Good morning, loves. It's a beautiful day. Coach V here, your go-to love solution provider, bringing you a brand new way to level up your love life. Welcome to Love Hacks. In today's episode is a man's cheat sheet on how to win the heart of a woman who is an alpha on the outside but secretly a baby on the inside. The type who doesn't need a man but still wants to find the one. You ready? The big love problem to solve. How do you love a woman who doesn't seem to need anyone? How?
So we go online for this one. Let's read out a letter. Now here we go. So to my brothers here, I need help. So I, 32M, want to take things seriously with a girl, 31F, but I am too intimidated. Now, we met on a dating app and have been seeing each other casually. How do I start telling her I want to level up our relationship? Not sure if she even wants something serious though. Sobrang busy niya sa work. Any free time she gets, she travels solo. Since we're anonymous here, I'll admit, nahihirapan ako ligawan kasi nai-intimidate ako. Successful siya sa career niya, actually sa buong buhay niya. Pag iniisip ko kung maging boyfriend niya ako, parang wala akong may aambag sa buhay niya. So, okay naman ang trabaho ko, I earn well, pero siguro nako-compare ko lang ang sarili ko sa kanya. Every time we meet, we go out, catch up, talk about life. But what can I do? Parang mararamdaman niya na special sa akin. Di siya mahilig sa gifts, ayaw niya ng flowers. I really like her. And if she is not ready yet, I'm willing to wait for her.
It's not an easy feat to please a strong, independent woman, but let's unpack this love. She's confident, thriving, busy, and not looking to be saved. So naturally, this guy's asking, what do I even bring to the table? To the guys, have you ever had a crush on a woman na nagagandahan ka pero nakaka-intimidate lapitan? So you just automatically disqualify yourself kasi feeling mo she needs someone better. Now, according to psychologist Dr. Tai Tashiro, high-functioning women don't care if you out-earn them. They care if you can meet them emotionally. They want someone that they can rest, not compete. They don't necessarily want a Superman, but she wants a man who can say, I got you. Strong women move mountains all day, but at night, she wants to feel safe. Safe enough to be soft and act like a baby. Now, here's your cheat code to loving a strong, independent woman. Number 1, very important, when you are with her, don't make her think. She's made 100 decisions before she saw you, so let her relax and say, be ready at 7. I've got us. Ooh, that's not controlling, that is confidence. Number 2, don't get insecure. She already chose you. The fact that she's talking to you, that means you already have value. Now, show her that you are worthy of access to her peace. And of course, lastly, very important, teach her something. Even if she's a strong, independent woman who's smart, the right man still adds value. Teach her a skill, teach her whatever you're good at, introduce her to something new. Make her say, man, this man knows his stuff. Bonus, make her feel like a woman. Feminine, take care of her and say something of the likes of, I admire how you lead. But I hope I'm the man who reminds you it's okay to rest. Because here's the twist, and most men miss this. The stronger the woman, the more secretly she wants to be babied. Yep. But only by a man who makes her feel safe enough to drop the armor. She moved mountains na kasi all day, but at night, she wants to feel small in the arms of a man that she can trust. If she feels that with you, she won't need convincing, she'll choose you freely. Now, to the man who asks ka, you don't need to give her more stuff. She doesn't like flowers nga eh. But you need to give her a space where she can feel feminine. That's the secret ingredient talaga. Because you're secure in your masculinity. So how do you make a strong, independent woman fall in love? Be secured with yourself. And make sure na may ambag ka sa life niya, no matter where you are in life. Be the peace in her pressure and the man who says, I got you. Remember love. Strong women lead in life, but they love when they can lean and rest in your love. By the end of the day, baby pa din naman kami. Chos. That's it for today, loves. This is Coach V, giving you real talk about real love. Want us to give your love problems real solutions backed by sass and a lot of science? Send us a DM at Dating Coach V on Instagram. Let's not just talk about love, let's solve it, my loves. Join me again next week here on It's a Beautiful Day. Love you.
Oh, I love that.
That's nice. You didn't have to say chos in the end. It's true.
Nahiya kasi ako kasi pa strong, independent woman ako.
Sometimes we don't want to admit it.
That's true. That's part of the package.
I know. I think it's true though. But I think the challenge for guys is sometimes is that they have to be okay with only having to convince her and not the people around her. Kasi some people feel na, you're not good enough for her because you can't provide as much or you're not and then other people would talk. You have to be okay with silencing the noise around you and just focus on the approval of the girl.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yan yung mahirap. But anyway, we wish we had more time. That could have been a podcast.
That's a great topic.
That's a great topic. But Coach V, maraming salamat. Thank you so much for joining us again. We really appreciate all the love hacks. Now that is it for us this Friday, April 4. Enjoy your weekend. Ako po si Paolo del Rosario. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Catch you guys later at 11 a.m. on Mellow 94.7 BFM. And wherever this day and this weekend takes you, always choose to be kind and pack your own sunshine.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. I hope you all have a great weekend ahead. Join us again on Monday at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
It's a Beautiful Day.